The email hit Lorelai like a slap across the face. We regret to inform you that Mia cannot participate as junior bridesmaid at the wedding due to the absence of a father figure in her life, which is essential for our traditional family ceremony. Lorelai read the words again, and again her hands trembling as the old familiar ache of rejection mixed with a burning resolve she had long suppressed. She sat at the kitchen table of their cozy two-story home in the suburbs of Chicago, the morning sunlight filtering through the white curtains casting soft shadows on the wooden floor. Holly, her wife of 5 years, was standing by the counter pouring coffee, her dark hair tied back in a ponytail, sensing the sudden shift in the air. "Lorelai, what's wrong?" Holly asked, her voice steady, but concerned as she placed a mug in front of her. Lorelai pushed the laptop toward her wife, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's from my sister Anna. They're revoking Mia's role in the wedding party. They say because there's no father it's not appropriate for their traditional values." Holly read the email, her face hardening with the familiar frustration they had faced many times before. "This is not about tradition. It's about them not accepting us." Lorelai nodded, feeling the weight of years pressing down. Mia, their 16-year-old daughter, was upstairs getting ready for school, oblivious for now. Lorelai remembered the day Mia was born, how she had held her tiny body and promised to give her the best life possible. But that promise had come at a cost. She had been married to David, back then a decent man, but the marriage felt like wearing a costume that never fit. After Mia's birth, the emptiness grew until one day at a work conference she met Holly. Their connection was instant, deep, and undeniable. Coming out to David had shattered their world. He left shortly after filing for divorce, and barely fought for custody, allowing Lorelai to raise Mia mostly alone at first. But the family, the conservative family from their small Illinois hometown, had turned their backs. Her mother had said terrible things about how a child needs a man in the house, how Lorelai was selfish for choosing this lifestyle. Those words still echoed in quiet moments. Holly had come into their lives like a lifeline. Patient, kind, and strong, she had helped Lorelai navigate the legal battles, the whispers at school events, the lonely nights of doubt. Together they built a home filled with love, laughter, and open conversations. Yet Lorelai often lay awake wondering if her choices were costing Mia the normal childhood, the acceptance from relatives, the easy path. Mia had questions growing up. "Why don't I have a dad like other kids? Why can't grandma visit more often?" Lorelai would explain in age-appropriate ways about love being love. But the pain in Mia's eyes sometimes broke her heart. Now at 16, Mia was a bright, confident girl, but she carried the subtle scars of being different. There had been incidents at school teasing about her two moms. Lorelai had confronted the principal, fought for inclusivity, but the world outside their home was harsh. As Holly hugged her from behind, Lorelai leaned into the embrace, drawing strength. "I can't let this slide, Holly." Mia was so excited to be part of the wedding. "She's been talking about the dress for weeks." Holly kissed her temple. "Then we fight it. But remember the cost. Your family may never come around." The day progressed with Lorelai going through the motions at her job as a graphic designer, her mind racing. She thought about all the times she had tried to bridge the gap with her mother and sister. Phone calls that ended in arguments, holiday invitations ignored. The prejudice ran deep, rooted in their Catholic upbringing and small-town mentality. By evening, when Mia came home from school, Lorelai knew she had to tell her. Mia dropped her backpack, her long brown hair falling over her shoulders. "Mom, you look upset." "What's up?" Lorelai sat her down and explained the email gently. Mia's face fell. "But why? They said I could be junior bridesmaid." "Is it because of you and Holly?" The question cut deep. Lorelai saw the flash of embarrassment and hurt in her daughter's eyes. In that moment she felt the full weight of her decisions, the trade-off between her authentic self and her daughter's desire for belonging. Holly joined them, offering support, but the conversation turned into tears and questions. Mia wanted to know if she could still go as a guest at least. Lorelai promised to try, but inside she knew the denial was a symptom of larger rejection. That night, as Lorelai and Holly lay in bed, the room dark except for the city lights filtering in, Lorelai whispered her deepest fears. "What if I'm ruining her life, Holly? What if she resents me one day for not giving her a conventional family?" Holly turned to her, taking her hand. "You're giving her a family full of love. That's more than many kids get. The world is changing, but some people cling to old ideas. We can't live for them." Yet sleep evaded Lorelai as memories flooded back. The day she told her mother she was divorcing David, and why. The screaming, the accusations of sin, the threat to take Mia away. She had stood firm then, but each stand came with a price: isolation, legal fees, emotional exhaustion. Holly had been her rock through it all, their love growing stronger amid the chaos. But love had consequences. Friends lost opportunities, past family ties frayed. As the clock ticked past midnight, Lorelai made a silent vow. She would not let this latest insult pass quietly. For Mia, for Holly, and for herself, she would confront the prejudice head on, no matter the fallout. As the morning light broke through the curtains, Lorelai picked up the phone, her finger hovering over Anna's number. The call connected on the third ring, and her sister's voice came through, clipped and formal. "Lorelai, I figured you'd call. Look, this isn't personal, it's for the wedding. We want everything perfect and traditional for Claire. Mia is a sweet girl, but without a father figure it just doesn't fit the pictures, the processional, the whole vibe." Lorelai gripped the phone tighter, her knuckles whitening. "Not personal, Anna, how can you say that after everything? After I stood by you through your divorce from that jerk, after I helped with the kids when you were sick. Now you're using my daughter as collateral for your precious traditions." Anna sighed, the sound heavy with exhaustion. "Mom agrees with me. She says a girl needs a man to walk her down, or at least represent the family properly. You chose your path, Lorelai. We didn't. This is your consequence." The words landed like stones in Lorelai's chest. She remembered the day she came out to the family, the dinner table silence turning to shouts, her mother crying about sin and hell, her father storming out. Anna had been quiet then, but later sent a text saying she loved her, but couldn't support the lifestyle in front of the kids. Now that quiet support had evaporated in the face of her own daughter's wedding. Lorelai paced the kitchen, Holly watching from the doorway, her eyes full of quiet empathy. Mia was in the next room pretending to do homework, but Lorelai knew she was listening. The betrayal cut deeper than the email because it came from blood, from someone who knew the struggles Lorelai had faced raising Mia alone before Holly entered the picture. At work that afternoon, Lorelai sat in a meeting, her mind drifting to a school event last year where a parent had pulled their child away from Mia after learning about the two moms. The whispers, the sideways glances, they were constant reminders that the world outside their bubble judged them harshly. Holly had faced it too at the hospital, where colleagues made awkward comments about family values. Yet they chose each day to show Mia that love was the foundation, not gender or tradition. That evening over dinner, Mia pushed her food around her plate. "Mom, if I can't be in the wedding, can I at least go as a guest? I want to see Cousin Claire in her dress." Lorelai exchanged a glance with Holly, the dilemma weighing heavy. If they pushed the issue, it could mean more isolation for Mia, no more summer visits to Texas, no more awkward but familiar holiday calls. But if they backed down, what message did that send about self-worth, about standing for what was right? Holly reached across the table, squeezing Mia's hand. "We will figure this out, honey. Your mom's fighting for you because you deserve to be included as you are." Lorelai lay awake again that night, replaying the conversation with Anna, the moral tangle of protecting her daughter from pain versus teaching her to never shrink herself. The price of her love for Holly was clear in the empty seats at family gatherings, the unanswered texts, the lost connections. Yet in the quiet moments when Holly held her, or when Mia laughed at their inside jokes, Lorelai knew the reward was a family built on truth, not pretense. The next day another call came from their mother, the voice sharp with years of disappointment. "Lorelai, you are putting your sister in a difficult spot. Think of Mia. Do you want her growing up thinking it's okay to defy God's plan for family?" She hung up before Lorelai could respond, the rejection a fresh wound. Holly found her in the backyard, staring at the fence, her shoulders slumped. "You don't have to do this alone, love. Whatever you decide, we face it together." Lorelai turned, pulling Holly into a tight embrace, the warmth of her wife's body, a reminder of the life they had chosen despite the cost. But the decision loomed larger with each passing hour, the tension building like a storm on the horizon, ready to break over them all. The days blurred into a haze of heated emails and whispered arguments as the wedding date approached. Lorelai sat at her desk drafting a response to Anna, but deleted it 3 times, the words failing to capture the depth of her hurt and anger. Holly suggested they let it go for Mia's sake, but Lorelai could not shake the feeling that backing down would teach her daughter to accept second-class treatment. At Mia's school, a teacher pulled Lorelai aside after parent night, mentioning how Mia had seemed withdrawn during a family tree project, the kind of subtle sign that the prejudice was seeping into her daughter's daily life. That night Lorelai and Holly sat with Mia at the dining table, the girl picking at her nails as she spoke. "I know they don't like that you and Holly are married, Mom. Some kids at school say stuff too, but I tell them my family is real. It just hurts when family says it. Lorelai's heart twisted at the maturity in her daughter's voice, the way Mia was already learning to navigate the world they had thrust her into. The moral dilemma gnawed at her: was fighting for inclusion worth the risk of Mia losing the few relatives she had left, or was shielding her the greater act of love? Holly suggested a compromise: a quiet attendance as guests, but Lorelai knew the invitation had been rescinded for Mia too, the email clear in its exclusion. A call from their brother Tom only added fuel, his voice gruff and unyielding. "Sis, let it go. Anna has enough on her plate without your drama. You made your bed, now lie in it." The betrayal from all sides left Lorelai reeling. The family she had once relied on now united against her truth. She spent hours in the park with Holly and Mia, walking the paths, the normalcy of their laughter a stark contrast to the storm brewing. Yet in quiet moments Lorelai questioned her own choices the day she left David, the risks she took for Holly, the way her coming out had upended Mia's world. The price was paid in lost birthdays, missed milestones, the empty chair at graduations, yet the awakening in her own heart, the freedom to love openly, was undeniable. As they prepared for the trip to the wedding venue in a nearby Chicago suburb, Lorelai packed their bags with a mix of determination and fear, the road ahead uncertain but necessary. Holly packed a backup dress for Mia just in case, the gesture small but full of quiet support. Mia hugged them both before bed, whispering, "I love our family, Mom. Don't let them change that." The words fueled Lorelai's resolve, the internal conflict raging, but the decision to attend crystallizing despite the warnings, the potential for more pain, the chance that this stand could fracture what little remained of their ties. The drive to the wedding venue felt endless, the highway stretching before them like the path of their lives, full of twists and unknowns. Lorelai gripped the wheel, her knuckles white as Holly navigated from the passenger seat, pointing out landmarks to ease the tension. Mia sat in the back, headphones on, but occasionally glancing up, her face a mix of excitement and nervousness. They stopped at a roadside diner, the kind with checkered floors and greasy fries, sharing a meal that felt like a last moment of peace before the confrontation. Lorelai thought back to the early days with Holly, their first trip together, a weekend getaway where they talked for hours about dreams and fears, the foundation of their bond built on honesty. Now that honesty was being tested against the family's walls. Upon arrival at the elegant hall, the parking lot already filling with cars, Lorelai felt her stomach drop. They parked and approached the entrance, the ushers in suits eyeing them warily. A cousin spotted them and whispered to security, the microaggressions beginning immediately. "You're not on the list for the family section, Lorelai. This is for close relatives only." Holly stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "We are family. Mia is Anna's niece." The standoff escalated, with Lorelai demanding to speak to Anna, the air thick with judgment from arriving guests. Inside the hall, the decorations sparkled with traditional flowers and white linens, the scene a reminder of the world that excluded them. Lorelai pulled Holly and Mia aside in a quiet corner, her mind racing with the cost of this choice, the potential humiliation, the impact on Mia's self-esteem. Yet seeing her daughter straighten her shoulders, Lorelai felt a surge of pride, the awakening that truth mattered more than comfort. The pre-ceremony tension built as whispers spread through the crowd, the family avoiding eye contact, the moral line drawn in the sand. Holly squeezed her hand, whispering, "We stand together no matter what." The decision to push forward felt right in that moment, the sacrifice of possible reconciliation outweighed by the need to model courage for Mia. The ceremony began with soft music and smiling faces, but Lorelai, Mia, and Holly sat in the back row, uninvited yet present, the exclusion palpable. As the bride walked down the aisle without the traditional father-daughter moment, the irony hit Lorelai hard, the very tradition they used to bar Mia now incomplete in its own way. The vows echoed with promises of family and love, the words ringing hollow against the prejudice in the room. During the reception, as toasts began, Lorelai felt the moment approaching, her heart pounding with the weight of years of silence. She stood walking to the microphone despite protests from the head table, the room falling into stunned murmurs. Holly and Mia watched from their seats, their faces a mix of fear and pride. The build-up reached its peak as Lorelai cleared her throat, the spotlight on her, the culmination of every decision, every sacrifice leading to this stand. "Ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I couldn't let this day pass without speaking for my daughter, and for the family we have built." Lorelai's voice steady despite the shaking in her hands. "You barred Mia because there is no father figure, but look around. Family is not a checklist of roles, it is the love that holds us through the storms. I raised Mia alone after a marriage that never fit me, then found Holly, the partner who completes our home with patience and joy. We have paid the price in lost ties and harsh words, but we gained a truth that no tradition can erase. Mia deserves to be here as she is loved and whole. The room fell silent, forks pausing, breaths held, some faces softening with tears, others hardening in outrage. Anna stood but sat back down, the weight of the words sinking in. Mia rushed to hug her mom, the awakening visible in her eyes, the bond strengthened. Holly joined them, the three forming a circle of defiance and love. In the hours that followed, some relatives approached with tentative words, others turned away, the rifts deepened but the truth spoken. As they drove home, Lorelai reflected on the journey, the costs, the gains, the family redefined. In a world that demands conformity, was Lorelai right to shatter the illusion of tradition for the sake of her truth? Or did her actions only deepen the divides that society already imposed?